What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 120 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. I got home from work a little bit ago. Got to watch the finals of Milwaukee. Super excited to talk about that today.
I did not because I don't have internet at the new house yet. So I've used my data. Like I have unlimited data, but like compared to 5G, 4G is terrible.
Yeah.
So it makes it basically impossible to watch or listen to anything that I don't have downloaded.
Understandable.
So there has definitely been a non-zero amount of days I've tried to download stuff in the morning, and I've driven across basically the 6 blocks or whatever it is from the house to the apartment to use the Wi-Fi at the apartment to have stuff to listen to at work.
Understandable.
But yeah, I think this should be the last podcast I record in the old office.
Yep.
Not the last video, because that's going to be this next week's RTT match.
Whenever that goes
already,
out, yeah.
Like it's already recorded, but I don't know when it's going to come out, because I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I've got videos lined up for this week too, so we'll figure out when that goes live. It might be 2 weeks from now. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll figure it out then. But so this weekend, like you were talking about, is in fact Milwaukee's regionals.
Yep.
And we have results all the way down to top 32, it looks like. So, where are we starting? I'm assuming first place. Talk about the bracket.
Yeah, I figured we'd start with the bracket and talk about that. Talk about how Groudon finally won an event.
I almost put out a tweet on Saturday saying, what restricted pairing was going to, either win or have, highest representation in top 8. And I almost put Lunaludon on there. And then, it has 2 in top cut. I'm just like, man, I am so smart. And I don't even play right now. I'm a genius. Yveltal Groudon, I think, is still very good. And this team that did end up winning, I think, is real sick looking.
Yeah. For those who have been paying attention for a while, this team should look very familiar. This is the same 6 that was popularized at, I believe it was either the Liverpool regionals or the EUIC. And I can't remember which one it was. But it was a European event. I remember that much. And it got popularized there. And then people have adapted to it. Joe's played Porygon 2 in that last slot. Milan had a Slowbro, which we featured on the channel before. But I'm very, very happy to see Yveltal Groudon get the love it deserves and finally win an event.
I wish I could search, Victory Road has all the teams listed and everything, and I wish I could search by Pokemon. I wish I could Control F the Pokemon's name, and it would pull it up based on the sprite, but that's not how this works.
Yeah, that's not how that works, unfortunately.
Because I was curious as to... Bronzong is, the very unique Pokemon here. So, I'm like, I can just, Control F, find Bronzong, and then we can see where this is from. But
it's from Liverpool.
Unfortunately, yeah, I was going to say, I'm looking at EUIC, and I do not see it here.
It's Liverpool.
So. Cool.
But this event in Milwaukee had a ton of unique teams, which is super duper cool coming from... looking at previous events where it feels very homogenized. You'll see the same 6 Pokemon but item differences, which is still cool. It's still a way to play the game, but seeing things like a Clefairy in Top Cut, a Sableye in Top Cut, an Urshifu in Top Cut. These are things we're not used to talking about and seeing at these especially like NA events. But like when you go and
Where
talk about the Japan events and whatnot, it's just everything's off the wall crazy, and it's nice to see that some of that innovation is starting to kind of bleed into our events a little bit.
Oh, for sure, for sure. This is sweet. Like obviously we have like Bronzong winning the event, Clefairy down here in second place, and then the uniqueness kind of falls off until we get to like the top 8 group here with like Urshifu, and then like you mentioned, we have the Sableye down here in 8th place as well. Which, dude, Sableye's sick. Sableye is just really, really awesome, and it's a Pokemon I think that is definitely underrepresented, if you want my honest opinion.
I think the Sableye team was probably the most unique team we could see besides Nathaniel's Calyrex Shadow Kyogre team. It's just unfortunate that they got paired against each other in the first round of Top Cut. So only one of them was making it out of there. And so, and then the other big pairing there on that same bracket is Nathaniel and James Evans being paired against each other because they're both seniors that aged up into masters in the last couple years, and it was both of their first real big finishes in the masters division, and they got paired against each other before finals. And so that is just like only one of these really good seniors is technically going to be able to play for the finals here. So there's a lot of cool storylines in Top Cut. Like people had to beat a lot of good players. If I remember right, Oliver had to play Xiangjun in Top Cut and got very, very lucky in the game 3 there to win and move on to top 4 against Chongzhen.
Yep, this is like super sweet, dude. I love just like these off the wall teams that show up and just can do stuff, and like Yveltal Groudon is something that's been around since the early days of like GS Cup tournaments that were being ran. Like it is not something new, but it finally be able to come out and spike an event and just be able to do well, I think is really sick, especially when like I don't know, like it's crazy to me that Zacian is not overly represented like I would anticipate, specifically in top 8. If you look at like top 16 and top 32, obviously Zacian is very popular.
But it just doesn't have the numbers in where it matters in top 8.
Carl, I scrolled down and I found teams that I am excited to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get there. I've got one I'm really excited to talk about too, but we'll get there.
Does yours involve a certain egg boy?
No. You can keep that one.
I wasn't ready. I was not ready at all, man. I'm just sitting here looking at stuff, and then next thing you know, there's an Executor on my screen.
Yeah. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But, like you were saying, there's a very, like, big discrepancy here of underrepresentation by Zacian in the top 8. And I think part of that is just due in part that people have figured out how to beat Zacian consistently, and there's just better restricted pairs to beat Zacian with, like the Lunaludon and the Calyrex Shadow Groudon and things like that really prey on opposing Zacian teams really well.
I mean, I'm going to be very honest. I still think Zacian is by far the best, like, restricted and probably best Pokemon in the format. And if it's not, like, Ensign is, like, one of those two is by far the best Pokemon. And, obviously you can make the argument of, oh, well, you can play around it. But, yeah, you can. It's just crazy to me that there's one in top 4 and like there's only one Ensign in top 8 in the finals. Like it I don't know. It's just crazy to me to think that like there was only 6 Ensign in top 8 as opposed to 8 of 8 like we've seen historically or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this weekend is just really really weird, and I don't know if you can consider this like the new normal.
I feel like there is not going to be a normal going, since this is the last event before NAIC. This is a lot of people's testing grounds. A lot of people who have already qualified for Worlds or are planning on going to NAIC are going to be testing their teams out, making sure they're ready to be played and things like that, because NAIC is a big deal. It's the last event before Worlds. Like, it's the last official event before Worlds is the NAIC. A lot of people's Worlds invites are going to probably be hinging on doing well at NAIC. And so you want to be as prepared as possible, and what better way than to go play at Milwaukee and have that really good best of 3 practice, because there's such a variety of teams here.
Agreed. So, like, where do you want to talk about, man? Like, do you want to just rattle off some top 8 teams here and start looking at them that way?
We'll kind of highlight some of the more played versions, like Chongjung brought Rinya's son. There's nothing to talk about here. It's Rinya's son. But like the Veldon team is super duper cool because it's got some unique tools and tech on it. We'll talk about this Clefairy team probably for a little bit, and we'll probably talk about the Reshiram and Lunaludon stuff.
I think Lunaludon is still just like really close to just spiking an event as well.
So I'm probably going to talk about this in a deep dive. Lunaludon is that always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of Pokemon, I feel like. Mm-hmm. It's always going to put up good results, but I don't think it's ever going to actually win an event. Like, I think it's won one event overall. Let me double check here. I think it's won one time.
Interesting.
And it just always feels like it's that Pokemon that you see a ton in Top Cut. Yeah, it did win. It won Taiwan's championships with Venusaur, Charizard, Grimmsnarl, and Incineroar. Did it win anything else? Melbourne was Colossal. I remember that.
There's a Colossal here in top 32 as well.
Yeah, that. I was excited about that.
Just on the outside of top 16.
Yeah, I saw that. I was very excited.
It's also, I mean, Yveltal Zacian. I mean, that feels pretty standard.
That is the standard Col 6. It's Yveltal Zacian, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Water Urshifu, and Colossal.
I mean, that seems pretty stock.
Yeah.
Nothing to be overly excited about there, but yeah, I still think it's cool.
Other than the Taiwan special event, it won Vancouver. That was the other event. That was the one I remember it winning. Okay. Was Vancouver, and it's the same 6. The Venusaur, Charizard, Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, Lunaludon.
Okay.
And I believe that's the only other event it's done well in. Like, it's won. Yeah, that's it. And I think part of it is just Lunala is good into certain matchups, but the teams that just end up making Top Cut aren't the things that it wants to see, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we talked about it. Yveltal got to play against Lunala in top 8, and it wasn't even close, right? Like, yes, you have Thundurus, yes, you have like interaction with Venusaur and whatnot, but like a lot of what the Lunaludon team is trying to do is get an advantage with Grimmsnarl, Incineroar, or whatever, and push that advantage and use that little bit of incremental speed advantage or fake out to get a turn ahead and kind of push the advantage that way.
Yep.
And a lot of these teams that we're seeing just don't care. Like Grimmsnarl is not going to do anything to Yveltal or Groudon most of the time. Like, if you're going to trick the Groudon, you've risked taking an Assault Vest, and then your Grimmsnarl is just done for the rest of the turn. Like, he's not doing anything else besides clicking Spirit Break or Foul Play. And so, it's cool that Lunala is doing really, really well. I don't see it being a consistent thing over the course of this. Like, it's not going to go out and win a bunch more of events, I don't feel like. I feel like the one it won in Vancouver was like an inevitability at some point, because eventually Lunala is just going to be everywhere. And so if there's 6 Lunalas in top 8 at an event, then it's just, the odds are it's really high that it's going to make it to the finals and it's going to win that event that way. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of Lunala teams are just riding on the coattails of Venusaur and Charizard.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think that like the Charizard aspect of it is obviously very, very good, and a big factor as to like what the team is able to do.
Yeah.
Being able to just have all this extra residual damage while keeping up your pressure. I mean, like go listen to the episode that we had with Austin. Like that's something that he talks about. It's just like, all of this residual damage you're able to do with Charizard is just free, and eventually you're able to just pick up extra KOs out of nowhere.
Yeah, the big difference there between like Austin's comparison and what these other Lunala teams are doing is Austin was playing Calyrex Shadow, and I think that's the better pairing for Sun.
I agree.
Lunala lets you do the Trick Room thing, kind of, because you want to be able to set Trick Room for Groudon against these faster Kyogre teams, lets you go first and do all of that stuff. But you're not really pushing, if you're Dynamaxing Groudon, you're not really getting that residual chip damage. You're just playing Venusaur to scare Kyogre at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's very accurate.
And I think just overall, Lunala's not what's making these teams good. It's Venusaur, Charizard, Groudon is doing the work, majority of the work there. And Lunala's just kind of there.
Lunala is a really hard sell in a format where Cali Shadow is like what popular.
Lunala thrives in a format with Zacian. When Zacian's good, Lunala's good, because you are guaranteed to live the Behemoth Blade a lot of the time. I think there's like a couple roles depending on your HP investment versus their attack investment where you don't live a +1, but Shadow Shield does a ton for Lunala in the face of a Zacian. You're almost guaranteed to get Trick Room up or Meteor Beam or whatever. And when Zacian's good, Lunala's good. Zacian wasn't good this weekend. As we see, there's 3 in top 8, only 1 in top 4, and Lunala just couldn't keep up with the rest of the format.
Yeah, that's a really simple way of putting it.
Outside of the Lunalodon teams, there's a lot of Sun in air quotes here in the top 8. Besides the 4 Groudon, there's the Reshiram Sun team and the Charizard Kyogre Sun team. Well, there's 5 Groudon, so there's every team but one had a Sun mode.
It's crazy to me that Groudon has more in top 8 than Zacian does.
I'm not surprised.
And like, I felt like eventually there was going to be a tournament where Zacian did not do as good as people would anticipate, and I think this is like that tournament. And like you said, people are just playing for NAIC, just testing out some things. So like, there's a non-zero chance you do just run into off-the-wall things like this, and that's okay. Like I said, I don't think this is going to define the format for the future.
I think this is the start of a new turning point in the format where we're going to see a lot more innovation going into NAIC, and then you're going to see nothing out of nobody until Worlds.
Which Worlds is August?
Yeah, it's like
right?
the end of August. It's that.
So we have a little bit of time still.
Yeah. I'm expecting a ton of innovation going into NAIC, a lot of unique teams, a lot of cool techs, and then you'll see teams like Nathaniel's Calyrex Kyogre team, or you'll see teams like the Kyogre Yveltal Executor team, or this team with Celesteela, and things like that. You'll see a lot of that floating around at NAIC, and then you won't hear a peep out of anybody for a month at least.
Yep.
You'll run in the ladder. You'll see Crystal Rain, Rinya Sun, super duper standard, normal things again, because everyone's gonna want to hide their tech for Worlds.
I'm excited, man. I think next week is going to be really, really exciting. With our first IC in quite a while. Obviously, we had EUIC, but like this is like the first major North American event. Like obviously not to take away credit from the other events we've had this season, but your ICs are huge, and especially in respect to the first one in several years. I mean, you're gonna have so many people there. I'm very, very excited for it as a tournament.
Yeah, you already have a lot of these international players traveling. They came to play at Milwaukee because they're just already here. Oliver, Toba, I'm looking through here. Juan M. Santizo, Hayden. There's a lot of. Oh, and Henry Rich. I don't know if you know who, like Henry Rich. They've top cut pretty much. They've like top 32 like every Australian event. I think they may have even like top 8 a few.
Oh, interesting. No, I did not know that.
They were on camera yesterday on Saturday, like round 3 or 4, and put on a clinic. The game was great. And
awesome.
Yeah, like they're already here. A lot of the international people who are going to be playing at NAIC have already just made the trip to NA because you had Milwaukee the weekend before.
Yep.
So I expect to see cool innovation, ton of cool stuff. But getting into the nitty-gritty on this, one of the big things that I was missing is, like, I don't think I saw Palkia or Calyrex Ice once all weekend.
I know there's there's one here in 12th, which is, I mean, it's just Paul Chua's, like, it's the Palkia Cali Ice team that we've seen, that, I think this team's really cool. Basically it just takes, like, Jeremy Rodriguez's Cali Reshiram team and drops Reshiram for Palkia.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I could take or leave that change.
It helps your Kyogre matchup, but makes your Zacian matchup worse.
I mean, you still do a ton of damage, especially like if it is Crystal Rain, where they have the Kyogre to set the rain for you as well. Like you're able to just do a ton of extra damage that way. Yeah. But yeah, this is cool. I'm definitely a fan and would be interested in seeing how well it actually plays out. I know you kind of mentioned it, but dude, I cannot stress how much I love, like, just watching couple people on the Discord are playing with Sableye currently, and dude, Sableye has really impressed me. And for it to then, like, already I thought that, like, it was being underrepresented, and then for it to come into this tournament and top cut, I think is just really, really awesome.
Yeah. This is the 8th place team. Reshiram, Zacian, Sableye, Venusaur, Landorus, Therian, and Thundurus. This is confirmed to be a Prankster Thundurus on this team.
Sick.
So you have double Prankster. So you have access to really good support, depending on your matchup. If Sableye's support's not good, you have Thundurus to kind of be that support backup. And you're really like trying to push Venusaur and Reshiram to be your big max targets. Landorus can max in a pinch, but those are your big max targets, and the team is just revolves around Reshiram dealing damage.
Yeah, I am a fan.
I don't think there was another Sableye at all in top 632.
I don't think so.
No, I don't see one.
I have not seen one if there is. There's a Dusclops?
Yeah, I saw that. There's a Dusclops in 24th here with Calyrex Ice Dialga. That's not something we're used to seeing at all.
And then, like, another pretty unique Pokemon. Down here in 32nd, we also have a Slowbro.
Yeah, that's the Milan team, if I had to guess. A version of it, probably.
I would be surprised if that's not the case.
Other unique Pokemon here, like I mentioned, there's the Executor, which is cool with this team. It pairs really well being a quad electric resist for your team that has 2 electric weaknesses. And then you have Indeedee for more follow me stuff. Psychic Terrain's really good too. You have Grimmsnarl, which is kind of a non-bo with your Indeedee, but if Indeedee's not good, Grimmsnarl probably is.
I mean, you can also just be Screens Grimmsnarl, and like there is no dis-synergy between those.
Yeah, and then you have Regieleki just to be your tertiary max target.
Yep.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, super, super cool team. I will be hopefully looking out for a rental of that. Which, I guess you're going to do the laddering for this week, and then hopefully I'm going to take back over for next week.
I've got one more laddering for sure, and then you should hopefully be back by then.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned it here, but I should have internet at the house next week.
Fingers crossed.
If not, Spectrum and I are going to have words.
If it's not a big deal. I can...
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, man. I also miss playing, so, like, I haven't sat down and actually played anything in a while.
Mm-hmm. Another cool, unique thing here is there's the Celesteela right above the team we were just talking about. That's a Pokemon we haven't seen in a hot minute. Paired with Zacian, Kyogre, Rillaboom, Rillaboom, Tornadus, and Regieleki. I'm not sure what role the Celesteela is playing on this team. Probably just another bulky steel type to just be annoying. Probably walls Groudon pretty hard if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably. Being a flying type on your team that has Zacian and Eleki is also really hot to be able to, like you said, body Groudon. Obviously you also have Tornadus here, which does help you with like your hyper offensive version, like your hyper offense leads of like Eleki and or Kyogre and or Zacian, or like even like Celesteela plus Tornadus as a lead is not like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What if this is like the AV Celesteela with Dynamax, like Max Flare and all that nonsense that we used to see back in Series 7 and 9?
I forget who it was, but someone on Discord today was like, man, I really want another like physical attacker. And they're like, I think it was Smeargle. I was like, yeah, I really want another physical attacker. And it's like, what if we do like Prankster physical Tornadus? I'm like, well, if you're gonna do physical, why don't you just be Defiant? And if you're gonna be like if you're gonna be Prankster, you want to be special. And if you want to be physical, be Defiant and just get people.
Yeah, Like,
because people are not going to be ready for it.
yeah. And Tornadus' physical move pool's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously your best flying stab is still fly, which sucks, but
Hey,
they did the genies dirty by only giving them fly.
yeah, but like, could you imagine like Thunderous with Hurricane?
Please stop.
Yeah, like that's why it only has fly. Like Tornadus gets access to Hammer Arm, Iron Tail, Lash Out, U-Turn, Superpower, Fly, Giga Impact. There's a lot of good physical moves on here. You also have access to Brick Break, Crunch, Acrobatics, so on and so forth. Definitely some cool tech there for physical Defiant Tornadus to maybe do some cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the possibility of it is really cool on its own.
Let's see here. We talked a little bit about Calyrex Ice Palkia. We talked a little bit about the Calyrex Ice Dialga because we talked about the Dusclops. I think there's 2 Calyrex Ice Dialga teams in top 32.
Sick.
Yeah, there are. They're very similar too, which is kind of cool. The only difference is one's got a Thunderous, one's got a Dusclops. And then Urshifus could be different, but I assume these Urshifus are dark single strike to deal with opposing Calyrex Shadow.
See, this is 15th and then 24th, if I'm looking at this correct.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Matt Tid and Tabe Big.
Yeah, I am a fan. These teams look sick.
It's not a pairing we're used to seeing because obviously you're kind of Zacian weak, but if you got enough support, you could probably make them work.
I agree.
I believe that's the only other unique pairing that we haven't talked about yet. We've talked about the Yveltal, Groudon, Slowbro team. We've talked about Kyogre, Yveltal. We've talked about Calyrex Ice Dialga, Calyrex Ice Palkia, Lunala Groudon. Hayden's version is the one that I'm used to seeing with the double Sun Power, and then with a Venusaur and Charizard. I'm used to that one too.
Yeah, everything else looks pretty
standard.
Is a duplicate in some capacity or another.
Like there's a lot of just like Crystal Rain variations. I know there's one like hard Crystal Rain. Oliver was playing a version with Thunderous instead of Zapdos. There's versions of Crystal Rain running around with like Amoonguss instead of Rillaboom, and then Thunderous instead of Zapdos. You could pretty much call those super duper similar. Grayson here in 18th is playing Landorus instead of Zapdos.
Interesting.
I'm not sure how much I like that. It's good into the Groudon matchup. But that's not why you were playing Zapdos to begin with, right? Like you took your thing for the mirror out and instead put something that helps your Groudon matchup, which your Groudon matchup isn't that bad to begin with, I feel like, on Crystal Rain.
I agree.
So I don't know. Smarter people than I can probably tell me why.
Full agree.
In my opinion, I don't see that being a logical jump to make to go from Zapdos to Landorus.
Yeah, I don't quite agree with that change, but like you said, I'm sure someone smarter than me has thought of it, and will gladly tell me why we are wrong.
Yep. So, do you want to talk about Clefairy a little bit? Because we kind of talked about it a little bit last week.
Of course.
And it's just fitting that it popped up again. So, I'm not sure if I 100% agree with Nathaniel's play in Game 3 of the finals match where he's just clicking Protect like 7 turns in a row.
See, I have, like I said, I haven't got to watch finals yet, so I'm not entirely sure how well this goes.
So, I there's arguments here to why you play Clefairy. You play Clefairy because it's Friend Guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friend Guard, Eviolite, kind of bulky. You have Helping Hand to play around Fake Out. You have After You to help your Trick Room matchup. There's a lot that Clefairy does really well, especially on
Agreed.
a team like this where everything wants to go fast. Trick Room is the way you lose this game, and so having After You Clefairy makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
In the first round of Top Cut, he made Nathaniel made Chirayu just look like a goof the entire game. He literally just clicked Follow Me, Astral Barrage the entirety of game 1. Calyrex picked up 4 KOs.
I'm for it.
That's
Sign me
no
up.
Dynamax. Nothing. Literally just clicked Follow Me,
Just
Astral
Astral
Barrage
Barrage.
the entire time.
That's awesome.
And Chirayu
I'm
made
all for it.
fantastic adjustments for game 2 and 3. But game 3, it just wasn't enough to get there. And then going into top 4 against James, again, it was the Clefairy Calyrex Shadow Show. Click Follow Me, click Astral Barrage a lot. But they had to play this game of chicken. So James's Calyrex Shadow is Sash, while Nathaniel's is, I believe it's Specs.
Okay.
It's a choice item of some sort. I'm pretty sure it's Specs. And so because Clefairy couldn't redirect that Astral Barrage, you get to play this game of chicken. Right? And
Yep.
it creates this big old mind game of, am I going to attack? Am I not going to attack? What am I going to do? And Nathaniel ends up winning that one on the back of Clefairy and Kyogre and Charizard doing really well. Get up against Jay's team here, and leading Clefairy they had played in, I believe, in the 8th round on Saturday, and Jay just figured out Nathaniel's strategy. Nathaniel loves to lead Clefairy and just changed the Pokemon in the lead, and Reggie Eliki Yveltal just destroys that every time.
Yeah, Eliki is pretty decent last time I checked.
You can't redirect the Electroweb, so you're really reliant on that Clefairy just having Friend Guard up all the time.
Yep.
And Jay just abused the heck out of that.
Yep.
It was a great finals game. I highly recommend going and catching it again if you haven't yet. There's all
My plan for tomorrow is to download day 1 and day 2 while I'm still at the apartment and listen to them as much as I possibly can between the two. As much as I possibly can.
There's some very hype games and some very good games going back and forth. I remember Oliver and Chongjun's game being just the most roller coaster of emotions. It is so much fun to watch. And the finals game is the same way. It is just a roller coaster.
I'm excited.
But there's Nathaniel literally, I think, clicked Protect 7 times in a row in game 3 on his Clefairy.
How many of them worked?
4. He got
it.
1 double Protect. Not that it really mattered, because Jay just ignored it the entire time.
Got it.
He was clicking spread moves, and I think he fell for it once, but then once he realized it's just clicking Protect all the time, just I don't care.
Whatever. I could care less about you. You've been encored, essentially.
Yeah, Nathaniel's strategy was use Friend Guard to reduce the damage that Jay's team is going to do to you. And Jay just literally brought the entire suite of attackers on his team and blew right through it.
Just mess them up. Yeah, I'm excited to it. I'm excited to get to watch it.
But yeah, outside of all of that, Milwaukee was a lot of fun to watch. I got to actually get to watch all of it for once, which is something I normally don't get to do. Because work is usually crazy, but since I've been working by myself this entire week for the most part, I get to work at my own pace, and so I can just have it on in my ear and not have to talk to anybody all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, they had
that's one perk of my job is I get to just do whatever I want essentially, and when I get done. And I will take my sweet time getting to that point.
I didn't realize this. They had 180 players for Masters at Milwaukee.
I think I did know that.
I wasn't sure what the number actually was, but that's a good number.
Mm-hmm. It is a pretty decent number.
But yeah, this it's cool to look at Milwaukee, especially after looking at Japan. I talked about in the deep dive last week, Japan's meta is just all over the place because they can be.
Agreed.
they get to be. They get to be all that weird, do all that weird stuff and whatnot. So it's definitely kind of cool to see. Like I said, it's like to see the Clefairy, see some of the techs coming out of Japan get transferred into our meta, essentially.
Yeah, their meta is just so absurd, and I love it.
Yeah. What else are we gonna talk about this week?
We can talk about the team you're gonna be playing for the deep dive, I guess.
For the laddering, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes. We'll have to apologize because it's all in Japanese.
You can fix it in post.
I'm probably not going to, but
close enough.
But the problem is we can't read it because the only one I have.
You had it pulled up.
Yeah,
right?
it's on my Switch. I have it on my Switch, but that requires turning the Switch on and getting the screen pulled up.
All right, fine. Give me half a second. I'll get it pulled up.
I remember everything. I can tell you what it all is.
All right, fine. That saves me the hassle of
so
stuff in.
I think I've played Groudon every week for laddering. If this trend continues, I think I've played Groudon for every week of laddering. No, I didn't play it last week. I played Colossal last week. So I've either played Groudon or Yveltal for every week of laddering now. And I didn't want to play another Yveltal team because that'd be 3 Yveltal teams in a row. Ha ha, funny. The Yveltal guy likes Yveltal. So
it is kind of funny.
So I found this Xerneas team that is really, really cool. And I think it placed 39th at the Japan Championships.
Their nationals?
Yeah.
Okay.
And overall, it's really, really cool because it's got a lot of cool techs and things like that. But you don't see Blacephalon very often.
No. It does one thing. It blows itself up, and that's about it.
So I apologize to everyone. It's in Japanese on screen too, because I'm not gonna probably have time to grab the image off my Switch and want to put it in post. But I can run through this because I've seen it and I know what's going on. So this is a Xerneas Groudon team. We don't have any of the normal Sun support. Blacephalon is our Sun Pokemon, right? In this situation, we're doing Sun boosted Mind Blown things. We have very fast Hypnosis. We have Rock Blast to just beat up Charizard or something like that. Break a Sash, do whatever. And then we have Heat Wave to kind of round it out with Life Orb. So we're doing a whole lot of damage with Blacephalon, and that's kind of the goal. Our Dynamax options are a little weird because you obviously have this Groudon with bulk up and leftovers that can just Dynamax after 1 or 2 bulk ups. You also have this Blastoise that has Dark Pulse, Hydro Cannon, Weather Ball, and Fake Out. With Assault Vest, you could Dynamax to do more chip damage with Cannonade and whatnot, and then use Mind Blown or Moon Blast from Xerneas or whatever to kind of pick up KOs here and there. There's a lot of cool techs, a lot of cool just like moves on here. We have Substitute on our Xerneas, not something you're used to seeing a whole lot of.
No, not at all. I will be the first to admit that.
And like I said, bulk up Groudon is not something super duper common. It's going to become more common now that Jay's Yveltal Groudon team won. Definitely going to see bulk up Groudon probably a lot more than Swords Dance. Those defense boosts matter a lot. And most of the time, you're only ever going to get intimidated one time, either on a switch in or after a parting shot. So you eventually can just equalize it all out based just using bulk up. But we also have a Moongus to kind of make sure we get to do our Geomancy thing if that's ever a problem. We have Incineroar because it's Incineroar. It's really, really good. Play the Pokemon. Don't handicap yourself. Just play Incineroar.
Play the good mons. They're good for a reason.
But yeah, I'm super excited to play with this. I have no idea how good it's actually going to be. I'm ready to.
I don't know, but I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you.
I'm ready to miss Hypnosis a ton. Well, that makes one of us. I may end up having to change teams because I may not get a single win with this squad. But we'll probably try to catch somebody off guard, right?
We will figure that out when we get there.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
I'm a little worried I'm going to overdo it with Mind Blown and I'm just going to knock out my entire team with it, but it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Or it won't.
Yeah, or it won't.
But yeah, this team looks super cool and I'm very excited for it.
Anything else you want to talk about this week?
I don't know, man. I got really a whole lot of nothing left. Like I kind of mentioned, we're hopefully going to be done moving this week, and then from there things get a little easier. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yep. Getting ready for NAIC this weekend. Good luck to everyone playing in that.
I'm so excited, man. It's going to be such a good event.
Yeah, I wish I could have figured out how to go, but it's fine.
Yeah, I understand that sympathy all too well. I really wish I was able to go.
I could have gone if I had just pulled the trigger, but I'm just do I really need to go to another event this year? And then Evan's gonna end up going, and I really wanted to meet Evan, and now I'm kind of upset that I'm not going.
Yeah.
Not like I had a ride out there yet. Anyway, I had nothing planned, and I'm just that's not the kind of person I am.
Not at all.
I cannot just on a whim just go. I can't do that.
Yep, I get that too. So I am shipping some Evan's shirts from the Invitational that I still have. I'm getting them sent, and so the initial idea was we were going to send them to Poppy, and Poppy would get them to Evan. Only to come to find out that Monday is a national holiday.
Yep, Juneteenth.
Which I did not realize was officially official. And so now we are going to be instead shipping them to where Evan is staying, because he's coming in with KS Rider. Knight Rider.
Yep.
And so we're going to be sending it to him so he has access to them there. And it will be okay. We will make
It'll get there. It's only been a year since they should have been there. but
not quite, but pretty dang close.
so if I wanted to go to NAIC, I could play Pokken.
Do it.
I could pay $60 to go get my butt kicked at Pokken.
I don't see the downside here.
I do not have a hotel or a way to get there.
Carl, I'm still not seeing the problem.
But I could pay $60 to go get my butt kicked at Pokken. I also have to be back there on Friday, and I have to be back on Sunday.
So, because I wasn't going to be able to get the stuff to Poppy in time, I was looking at, like, just driving out there.
Oh, God.
Just to drop them off. And then I realized that's a terrible idea, and I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. That's, like, what, 9 hours?
It's not that bad. I've done it before. But it's more driving than I really wanted to do on a whim when gas is $5 a gallon, and I have to be back Friday night.
So, if you were to leave from Warrensburg, it is 9 hours and 16 minutes.
So we would need to leave like Thursday night, like Thursday, drive there, drop it off, then drive home Friday. Which, like, I could do. I easily could. But, like, if I'm going to be there, I want to go to NAIC.
Yeah, like if we're going to be there, we're going to be there. Like, we're not coming back. No. We get to drive through Indianapolis again.
Indy's sweet, man. I love Indy so much.
We'd hit Cincinnati and then just keep on going.
Yep. Yep, it's fantastic. I love Indy.
Like, driving to Indy wasn't that big of a deal. Like, it felt like it did not feel like it took 6 to 7 hours or whatever it was.
No, it's a really easy drive, in all actuality.
I think the problem would have been getting from Indy to Columbus would have been just like, oh my god, we've been in the car for X many hours and need to get up and walk around and do all that stuff.
That drive's not awful. Like you said, eventually you're just like, all right, I'm done. Please get me out of this car.
Yeah, we only made one stop on our way to Indy, and that was at this little itty bitty gas station in just past St. Louis in Illinois. And
yeah, I don't know. I would like to obviously go, but I don't have time off, man. I don't have the time off. We're short like 4 people.
Hey, it sounds like
another
me.
Another guy just put his 2 weeks in. The guy who's on vacation this week, I guess, is also like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be back till Friday. So if you could find someone to cover my days next week, that'd be great. It's like, okay. So, on top of losing more people, we're also just like, it's stupid. It is a mess and a half.
Tell them if they buy me a car, I'll come work for them.
That will not happen. Thank you, though.
Hey, I set my terms.
It will not be happening, but thank you for your time.
Yep. Sorry.
Don't bother me none.
I'm about to say, it's like, I would come work. I'd swap jobs in a heartbeat.
But
I ain't got a car to do the job, so I can't swap jobs.
Yep.
Say it's hard to do the job if I can't get to where the job is. So.
Yep. That is the biggest problem. But whatever. It'll be alright, I guess.
Since we won't have a podcast episode before another episode before NAIC, what restricted pair is winning NAIC?
Cali Shadow Groudon.
Really?
Yep.
Explain your reasoning.
I like Cali Shadow. It go burr.
Okay then.
So I actually think that like Cali Shadow is still very good. I think that the hyper offensive leads that you can have with it are obviously absurd when they happen. But the biggest thing that I think the team lacks is like being able to pick up consistent KOs. Like that's the biggest problem when it comes to specifically Cali Shadow is like being able to just KO something. So being able to pair it with your Groudons and your Venusaurs, your Venusaurs and your Charizards, I think is just like the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And I really do think that it is a very, very good thing to just be able to say, all right, I know what I'm about. I'm just going to do this.
I mean, that's what got Nathaniel to second place. It's like the team.
Yeah, exactly.
The team did its job. It's just you ran into the one team that can stop your job. So.
Mm-hmm.
So are you thinking something similar to like Austin's team with the Zard, Venu, Grimmsnarl, and Sin stuff, or are you thinking something a little bit more James Evans style with Gastrodon and Thundurus?
I think Gastro's fine for the team. Like, I don't hate it. I really do think that you are pretty weak into like opposing Kyogres if like something happens, but at the same time you also still just do have access to like you still are just able to do things with like Charizard and Venusaur. Like Venusaur obviously helps you a ton into the Kyogre matchup, especially if you're able to take over the weather. Mm-hmm. Like that's the biggest thing that you can do, and I think that's really, really underappreciated.
Yeah, I think the James Evans version with Venusaur, Gastrodon, and Thundurus does the most to help Groudon beat opposing Kyogre. Mm-hmm. Because like we said, there's two Pokemon that answer Kyogre, and then there's Gastrodon that redirect the water type attacks. You don't have a real big water weakness since you don't have Charizard anymore on the squad, and Incineroar is Incineroar. Like, you're gonna have it on your team anyway because it's such a good Pokemon that you're only really like worried about water attacks into your Groudon a lot of the time. So having that Gastrodon version is probably the version we'll see for the foreseeable future, I feel like. Austin's version was cool, but I just don't know if it's going to be able to hold up in this format full of Yveltal, Reshiram, whatever randomness is going on.
I agree. I fully agree. So back to your question, what do you think is going to win?
I'm just going to play it safe and say Swordfish.
Yeah, that's fair.
The
Swordfish is still very good.
It's probably going to be a variant of Crystal Rain if I had to guess, where you got the Rillaboom, Kyogre, Incineroar core with Zacian, and your Electric type, and your Grimmsnarl with Iron Ball or whatever. I feel like that it's just still going to do really well, especially in a field where everyone's trying to be really cute to catch people off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And your consistency is going to mean more in a bigger field like that.
I agree.
But it's weird because it's just like, I feel like Swordfish is always just a cop-out because it's just like, oh, it's going to be the most popular archetype, so you're picking it because of that. No, I just think I'm doing like research for Crystal Rain for a video right now, and let me tell you, it's been everywhere. We just haven't really seen it or really recognized it until it started winning events. Like, it didn't until it won in the hands of Pengi and Indy. Like, you just didn't see it. You didn't recognize, oh, that's what that is. I think I've counted probably 10 to 12 different top cuts with the Crystal Rain archetype before it was known as Crystal Rain. So I think that's probably the most consistent team in the format still. Your only real variance is like hitting Origin Pulses.
I mean, that's a pretty big ask. Days.
It's better than Sun asking to hit Precipice Blades and Sleep Powder and Leaf Storm and
True.
like, there's
just get lucky.
Yeah, like, that's the reason why I have not played any like Yveltal, Groudon. I don't like playing those teams a lot because it's literally just a crapshoot of, am I going to hit my Sleep Powder? Am I going to hit my Precipice Blades? Like, am I going to get 3 turns of sleep? Am I going to get 1 turn of sleep? Like, what's going to happen here? So definitely would like to put my eggs in the basket of consistency versus just random luck. Just push that off the cliff. I'm going to ignore that now.
Random luck is bad. Like, just don't. If you can eliminate variance, do so.
Yeah, like, don't rely on it to win your games. It puts you in a false sense of security.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
But I think that's it, man. I think that's the episode.
I'm about to say, that sounds like an episode. It sounds like a good thing to wrap up on.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Already? It's still daylight.
Yeah, we had to still go cook dinner and go to bed.
So. I did that early. I started that early tonight because I knew we were going to be recording tonight.
Well, I didn't. I had my draft league match before this, so I have not had a chance to think straight.
Womp womp.
Let alone actually do stuff.
Get us out of here, bud.
All right, man. So, as always, everyone, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening over on Apple and or Spotify, make sure you drop us a 5-star review over there as well. Make sure you click those follow buttons on all the podcast forums so you get updates when all the shows go live. If you're interested, go and follow us on Twitter at LRListens, myself at Mr. Missouri 25, Carl is at Musical VGC. Carl and I are also both on Twitch. We're both affiliates over there, so if you really like us, you can always go sub and help us, keep the lights on and help pay for me moving and all my expenses there. That would be great. Thanks.
So yeah, help Carter pay for his moving, help pay for my Sonic drinks.
Also, same. Sonic, their app was down today when we went to go get stuff, so we ended up paying like $7 for 2 drinks. I'm just like, this is stupid. I hate it.
Happy hour on the app is the best
absurd.
thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was making dinner and Kayla was like, I'm thirsty. She's like, well, go get something, and she's like, what do you want? I'm just like, just give me a Dr. Pepper. I don't care. I just need caffeine.
Like, it'll be fine. Yeah, just go get me stuff. I will be okay. Yep. So yeah, you can follow us over on Twitch at Mr. Missouri 25 and at Musical. Past that, you can also join us over on our community Discord, where you get to hang out with us and play in all of our events and everything, and know about what's going on inside the community as soon as it goes live. That's going to be down in the show notes. You can also check out the website at lrlistens.com. Go over and join that, and check it out. Check out all the content we have exclusive on it. And while you're there, make sure you go and check out the merch page. Get you a sweet T-shirt or some coffee mugs. We got all kinds of stuff up on
stickers. There's a hat. There's a whole lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, all kinds of super, super cool stuff that I would highly, highly recommend you go check out. That, of course, is all thanks to Teespring. They're fantastic, and I cannot recommend their products enough.
Yep.
Let's see. Then I guess that brings us to what do we have left?
Anchor
what
support.
Have I not talked about? Yeah, if you wanna join us, if you wanna support us, you can always do that over on Anchor. That link is down in the show notes as well. So as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode, you can help us out, and it really does do us a lot of good. It helps us with everything we have going on and then some.
Yep.
So I think that's it. I think we're out of here.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. And from this little apartment.
Yeah, for the last time.
Have a good one. Peace.